Whether you're just now starting a business or have been running a business for quite some time, you'll eventually need a business phone line. So today I'll be talking about steps I took to find an affordable business line when first starting off. Then I'll break down the company I'm currently using and am now partnering with. So be sure you stay tuned. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Tomy I'm a former stockbroker and investment advisor. On this channel, we help folks reach their financial potential because we believe that is the foundation to you ultimately living a happier life. Depending on the type of business you're running, having a phone number or business phone number can be extremely important, especially if you need to do things like sales or you just need to be able to talk with your customer and get them on the phone before they make the purchase. This is typically going to be for things like service-based businesses where customers want to speak with you before they actually sign up for your services, or if you're just selling pretty much high-ticket items. You know, phone number can also be beneficial if you want to do customer service and be able to field calls if people have issues with whatever type of product that you're selling as well. Now, where the issue comes in is that you want to make sure that you're running a lean business, especially as a new business owner, while also making sure that you have every aspect of your business locked in, right? You don't want to be a business who you're supposed to have a phone number, right? You know, you need to be able to do sales with a client, or you need to be able to have a sales call with a client, and you don't have a phone number. You don't want to be in that scenario, but you also don't want a phone number that's going to be destroying your budget, right? Especially whenever you're first starting off. Now, one thing I do want to caution you guys with is don't ever try to use your regular personal phone line to be able to field business calls, okay? This is a mistake that I made early on, and one thing I realized was that if once my number was out there, and people started reaching out to me, then where the issue came in was that there was really no way to stop the calls, right? People had my personal number so they could reach out anytime that they had a question. They would either call me, they would shoot me text, whatever the case may be, right? And that's when I realized you really want to make sure that you have a barrier between business and personal. So the great thing with you having a business line is if you're in this situation, just depending on whatever service that you're using, you are able to cut off the business line to be able to live your personal life, right? You don't want to be in a situation where you're spending your entire day, fielding business calls, even past what your regular work day would be. Now, in terms of the options that are available out there, there are pretty expensive options out there, especially if you look into things like, Verizon Business or T-Mobile Business. Just looking at their website, I found that Verizon Business could be as low as $30 a line, but for that, you would need to have a minimum of 5 lines. So for a business just starting off, you'd be spending about $150 a month, not including taxes, just paying for a phone line that you could have through Verizon, right? And to me, it didn't seem very feasible. You're just starting off. There's no reason for you to have 5 lines, especially if you're a new business, right? But if you're a company that already has 5 employees, it might be something that makes sense. The next thing was T-Mobile Business. T-Mobile Business, they did have a 1-line option, but 1 line would be $60 a month, right? Which is not too bad. It's similar to what you would pay for a standard personal line. So I kind of understood that, but digging deeper, I found that there was even cheaper options out there. So that brings me to my current setup. Currently, the way my setup is, I'm using a voice over IP, so VoIP software called Grasshopper. Now, the way it works is Grasshopper is actually pretty much an app on my regular phone, and it integrates perfectly for me because it pretty much leverages my phone to make calls out through the Grasshopper app. So whenever I call people, it shows my business phone number, but I'm able to field the calls through my phone like a regular phone call. So whenever, for example, someone calls my business number, it shows up on my phone. I know that it's a business call and I'm able to field that call. This has worked perfect for me, especially because I'm typically traveling or moving around a lot. So it didn't make sense for me to have an actual physical phone that, like the typical phone that you would see at a regular business, right? That you see in the movies or TV shows where you're picking up it's like an actual hard phone, a landline, right? This makes it a lot easier for me to be able to move around. I have the app so I can use it whenever I'm traveling, all that, right? And the great thing about the app too that I found, one big benefit is that I could set business hours through the app. So what happens is, calls can keep coming through just in that period that I've set. So if I set it, let's say 9 to 5, right? From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I can receive calls, but once 5 p.m. hits, it goes straight to a voicemail. I can set up a voicemail where, it's going to field all the calls. And then in the morning, the following day, I can just get on my phone and then start reaching back out to all those people. Apart from that, some of the other benefits that I found is the ease of use. They make it really simple for you to be able to use the app. Literally, it's essentially like you using your phone day to day. You're pretty much going to be doing the same thing just through that app. So I can easily send out text messages. I can easily, field calls or make calls. all through that app. If I get voicemails, I can listen to the voicemails through the app as well. The whole process is extremely simple. The other benefit is I get unlimited calls and text. That was one thing that I didn't want to have to worry about. There was other plans out there where they would say, hey, you only get 100 minutes or you only get 200 minutes. Especially at the beginning when I first got the number, I was doing a lot of sales calls and stuff, and I didn't want it to be a situation where, I had a busy week or something, and next thing you know, I'm paying overages or paying extra charges because I went over my minutes. And the other benefit, kind of like what I touched on previously, is separating business from personal, right? I think all that is amazing, especially with me being able to access everything just through my standard phone. So for me, it was easily a no-brainer. Now, what are some of the negatives? Obviously, with every company, no company is perfect, right? And some of the negatives that I found with Grasshopper is going to be one, they're not going to have any type of video conferencing capabilities. I saw a lot of other competitors out there offered, video conferencing, but for me, it was actually kind of a non-issue. I use Google Meets or Google Meet, and sometimes I'll use Zoom, but I've never really had the need to be able to do video conferencing strictly through Grasshopper. So, now I'm moving even away from Zoom and just strictly using Google Meet, which I have access through my G Suite account. And so for me, it was kind of a non-issue. Now, I have shot a video on G Suite. I'll link to it down below, talking about how I use G Suite to have a more professional email address. So you'll see that if I'm ever sending emails out, it's an email from, Tomy or admin@tommyboboy.com, right? Just having a professional email, and it's pretty cheap, right? It's going to be less than $10 a month. So for me, that was another no-brainer as well. But aside from the video conferencing capabilities, one other negative that I saw was the audio problems. From time to time, I did have issues with the audio. Part of that being that, when I'm using Grasshopper, it leverages my phone plan, right? So for example, whenever I call a number, it's gonna make the call through my regular phone plan, but it's whenever the person receives the call, it's gonna show another number. It's essentially like I'm calling into Grasshopper, and then Grasshopper is routing the call to whoever the person is, right? Or whoever the client is that I'm trying to reach out to. Now, where the issue can come in is if you're in an area where you don't have good reception, then it's going to reflect in the phone call, right? That's when you're going to see that you're having audio problems and things like that. Where you can kind of combat that is, leveraging Wi-Fi. A lot of the phone plans nowadays will have a Wi-Fi calling feature and things like that, where you can leverage Wi-Fi calling to be able to make phone calls and make sure that you have a more stable connection and you avoid all the audio problems. So that's typically what I'm doing. I usually am making phone calls from a set place, right? I'm sitting down somewhere when I'm making phone calls. So I'll have Wi-Fi there typically. If not, I always try to make sure I have a good network connection. Now, whenever it comes to pricing, how much does Grasshopper actually cost? Okay, so these costs that I'm going to give you are technically for annual if you were to sign up for an annual plan. But if you plan on paying month to month, all you have to do is pretty much add a few dollars to the amounts that I'm going to give you, and that'll give you about how much it would cost. So first plan to have is the solo plan. That's actually the plan that I'm using, and it costs $26 per month. Right? And this is really good for one user. So if you're a solopreneur, right, you're currently the only one in your business or the only one who needs a phone line in your business, then this plan is going to be for you. It'll give you one phone number and you'll get 3 extensions. Yeah, and the dope thing with the 3 extensions is you can actually use it to kind of make your company almost seem a little bigger in a sense, right? Where you can have once they call in, they get a voice prompt basically telling them like press 1 for customer service, press 2 for sales, press 3 for whatever other department you have, right? And so once they hit those, they choose one of those extensions, it can route it to whatever phones that you have set up for those specific extensions, right? Obviously, if you're a solopreneur, it just reroute, or if you only have one user, it'll route to that one user. But once you start adding users, what you can do is you can have it route to specific people based off of whatever phone prompt the person chooses. So that's a solo package. Partner package is going to have it's going to be $44 per month. And this is going to be for roughly 1 to 3 employees or more. You're going to get 3 phone numbers and 6 extensions. And then after that, there's the small business, which is $80 per month. And this is for, they say it's for 5 employees or more, and you get 5 numbers and unlimited extensions. Now they are pretty flexible, where if you need more additional numbers, or you need, additional users or whatever the case may be, you can get that done. You just pay a small extra fee. Okay, so that's the plus with them. Now, another benefit that I have seen that they have, now I don't personally use this, don't really need it for my business at least, but they have something called Ruby Receptionist. It's another company that they partnered with, and pretty much what that is it allows you to have a receptionist that can actually screen your calls. Okay, now this is going to be for an extra fee, and it might, as far as I remember, I want to say it was a couple $100 to be able to have access to this service. But the way it works is there's going to be an actual receptionist that's going to field the calls and then pretty much screen the people, ask them what they need, and then refer that person or transfer that person to you. So it's kind of like a warm transfer, as opposed to, someone just immediately hitting your phone and you not, you trying to figure out what they need. The receptionist can kind of already lay the groundwork, and then whenever they send them over to you, the receptionist can kind of relay exactly what that person's going to need. Now, I did see that they also offer outbound calls if you need that for your business as well. It's just keep in mind that with the price point, you never want it to be a situation where this receptionist is taking long calls, at least from what I saw with the numbers, because it can be like a couple $100 a month for, let's say, 100 minutes or something, or 50 minutes, right? And so you want to make sure that the conversations that your receptionist is having are pretty short conversations, right? It's pretty much like, asking a question of, what exactly they need. And then once she gets that information, she says, okay, let me send you over to somebody. And then boom, she's relaying that information to you, and that's it. So I'm going to be linking to Grasshopper down below. The way it works is, first, you're going to be able to choose a phone number, right? Either toll free or vanity number, a local number, or you can actually port over your current number. Once you do that, next you want to create a login. They'll have you create a login. And then after that, you're going to enter your payment information, and you're pretty much all set. It's literally like a 3-step process to actually get the account and everything created. So what I'm going to do is I'll link to the Grasshopper down below, so you can feel free to click the link down below and be able to get a free trial, as well as be able to support our channel if you found this information valuable. Also, if you want a full checklist of everything you need in order to be able to create and launch your business, watch this video that I'm going to link here talking about how to create an LLC. It'll literally give you some of my top partners for each different step that I think that every business should have whenever first starting off. So be sure to check this video out here. Besides that, guys, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. Be sure you hit that subscribe button and like the video if you found this information valuable, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace.